Okay guys, it's time. Hi everyone, my name is Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today is the start of another weekly reading vlog. It is Monday the 18th of July. I am currently at home and it is nearly 9 o'clock in the morning, which is not normal because I should be at work, and I am technically at work. But basically, for anyone who doesn't know, we're in the middle of a heatwave in the UK. I mean, the heat wave is all over, but in the UK we particularly don't know how to deal with heat waves. Our buildings are designed to keep warm air in, like we are insulated for the winter. We're not necessarily designed for keeping cool in the summer, because normally like we don't get this warm, but it's forecast to be up to 37 degrees where I live, 40 in other places, and for us that is pretty hot. So what that's meant is that a lot of the government guidelines has been to sort of not travel unless you absolutely have to, and my work has taken that on board and we have been told to work from home if we're able to, which I am able to. So I'm logged in now. I'm technically not supposed to start till like 10 o'clock. I'm supposed to do a late finish today, but there is no point in me doing a late finish because literally that is to keep the office open a bit later, and the office is not open. So I've logged in now, but I don't really have too much to do for the first like hour of the day. It's a lot of admin stuff, which means I get to listen to an audiobook. I'm not going to start this yet because yeah, I have mentioned in last week's vlog I will be starting House of Earth and Blood this week. It is on my TBR thanks to the lovely Liv. She put it on my TBR and it came up this month. And basically, history lesson of me with Sarah J Maas. I've never really had too much of an interest in Sarah J Maas's books. I have owned some previously. I used to own the original ACOTAR trilogy and the first Throne of Glass book, and I unhauled all of those because I just wasn't interested. I think I bought them like to kind of buy into the hype a little bit. But out of all of her books, this is probably the one I'm most interested in. My problem is that I have read one thing that she has written before, and it was a really random DC Universe YA book series. Hers was Catwoman, and I know that that book isn't a great example of her writing, but it was the actual writing style and like ways that sentences were constructed and things that I didn't like. So it has really put me off the rest of her writing. I have got the audiobook because some of the stuff with like grammatical choices, and you won't see those with the audiobook. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that it's just that her writing style's changed. I mean, I'm looking through, I don't know, I'm looking through and skipping through this, and I'm like, and I can't see the things that are annoying me. I'm like, oh no I can. She's still a fan of using that dash a lot, isn't she? Anyway, it was a thing. I remember Sarah J Maas being known for the M dash quite a lot, and that irritated me to no end when I was reading it. But anyway, I am currently listening to a different audiobook, or is on pause at the minute, but I am listening to Legends and Lottes by Travis Baldree. I put this one because it's a really quick audiobook, so I should be able to finish this one today. I'm up to chapter 5 now, so I'm like 60 pages in, but I've only got, like on the speed I'm listening to, I've only got about 2.5 hours left of the audiobook. So that is what I'm going to go and do now. I'm not instantly gripped by this one, I'm very sorry to say that, Lisa. I'm hoping it gets more of my attention as it goes on. The thing is it's like a cozy fantasy, and I don't know if that's really my sort of thing. So far it's just like a slice of life fantasy, and I'm like, I don't know if that's my thing, but I think as it gets into it I get more invested in the characters. It could be, so we will see. It's just taking me a little bit of time to get into it at first. Right, I'm gonna go because I should probably actually go and do some work, and I will check in with you guys probably on my lunch break, and hopefully I won't be dying from this heat. By the way, you probably heard my fan throughout this entire clip. I'm very sorry, but it has to happen. Understandable for the next couple of days, I'm sure. Okay, so another quick clip where you may not actually be able to hear me over the fan, but I finished reading Legends and Lottes earlier. I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed it, not as much as like other people have done. It was cute, but like it's not something I see myself reaching out to reread too quickly. I'm about to start reading this one though. I don't know if like the middle of the heat wave where I'm really uncomfortable is the best time to read this, but I need to do something, so we're gonna start. I'm progressively looking worse as these vlog clips go along, but this is what you get when the UK in the middle of a heat wave that we don't really know how to handle. I'm not going to talk about the heat too much because I'm sure you're all sick of us moaning about it by now, but it is still 30 degrees at 9:30 at night, which is just not what we're used to in this country. So yeah, excuse the look. Like, this is just what we're getting at the minute. Right, reading updates. I said I was going to start Crescent City yesterday. I didn't end up starting it yesterday. I don't even really know what I did last night. I didn't like watch any more Stranger Things. I didn't read. I think I just laid there trying to stay as cool as possible and not really working. I have started reading Crescent City today though. I'm actually up to part 2, so that means I'm like 90 pages in, which looks like nothing in this book. How many pages even is this? About 800, which isn't too bad. It's like the size of a Robin Hood book, but it just feels like that does not feel like I'm nearly 100 pages in. Apparently I am. It's okay. I was about to say I'm enjoying it, and I'm like, am I? It's okay. That's basically all I can say. I'm listening to the audiobook, and I think that is a good choice because I'm looking through and there's still bits of this author's writing style from grammar things, which would annoy me if I was reading it, but also like just the main character Bryce, I feel like she's trying way too hard to prove to us that she's cool, and I just, yeah, like and I'm not particularly gelling with her, to be honest. I've just had a chapter written from Hunt's perspective, and I preferred the writing style of that. I don't know if I prefer the character, because when I mentioned that I preferred the writing style, Lisa said, oh, that might change, but I think she thought I was saying I prefer the character, and I'm like, oh, it's nothing to do with the character, it's literally just that the way he's written is different, and I prefer the way that she's chosen to write him. But yeah, basically there is a big event towards the beginning of this book that I will say, if you've not read it yet, I think most people have read it before me, but if you've not read it yet, do not read the synopsis before you read it, because it majorly spoils a massive event that kind of sets up the rest of the book, but it doesn't happen until like just before the part I've got to. So it's better if you don't expect it to happen, to be honest. And I did know about it because I actually read the synopsis of this when it first came out a few years ago, so I was fully expecting it to happen anyway. And yeah, I feel like that chapter probably would have been a lot more shocking and a lot more of the desired effect had it not been in the synopsis. But like, I can't even show you the back of this book because it literally says like, I'll cover it up, but where that is, that tells you exactly what happens. And it's just, why would you put that like slap bang in the middle of the book? It makes no sense. Anyway, I'm on sprints with Lisa, Becca and Jem at the minute, and I should probably get back to listening to this audiobook, so I'll probably give you updates in the morning now. This is all you're getting, a very tired and far too warm vlog update. That's all you're getting for today. Hello, it is now Wednesday, it's Wednesday evening, it's about 9:30 at night. Okay, I'm just gonna say it right now because we all know what book I'm reading. This is not going to be a happy update. I'm very, very sorry. I've tried. I've really tried. I am currently up to about page 520 in this book. I've listened to like 400 pages worth of the audiobook today, and I was travelling for work. So I had train journeys, which meant I got a fair amount of listening done. And yeah, right, and I'm gonna say I did go into this book with an open mind, although I've made jokes about like me not thinking I'm gonna like it and me sort of being scared of it. I did go in wanting to enjoy it and wanted to sort of prove myself wrong, and within like 20 pages I was just like, I don't love this writing style. And I've just been talking to Meg, who has read some of Sarah J Maas's other books, and I think some of the things that are grating on me aren't really in other ones. I don't know if it's because this one is more of like an urban fantasy. It just feels like she doesn't really know how to kind of emphasize something without just throwing in a curse word, which is like not necessarily something that would grate on you, but it just is like the way it's being used in this. It feels like she's trying to make us think that the main characters are cool throughout it, and like one of them, and I just like, I feel for these characters. The main character, Bryce in particular, has been through a lot, and yeah, I do feel for her, but I also just don't really like her as a character, and I don't really like any of them as characters. The only one I do actually quite like is the character called Rune, but but they're a side character who's not in it that much. And yeah, I just honestly don't really care where this is going. There's a lot of like build up and sexual tension, but then nothing actually happening, and I feel like it probably does pay off eventually, but right now I'm just sick of it. I'm like, just hurry up and actually move on with the story. I either have something happen between them or stop making every scene be one of them lusting after the other one. Like, you can have sexual tension without it literally being just obsessing over the other person and the things you would do to them. That's what it feels like at the minute. It might not actually be happening that much, but you know, when something's grating on you, it's just like all you can see or hear, as my case is. But yeah, I'm not loving it. I'm very, very sorry. I did try. I tried. I think I can safely say now, though, that I will not read the Sarah J Maas book again, because this is two I've read now. One of her actual books, and then the Catwoman one that she did. And the thing is, that one's an urban fantasy as well, and it was YA, so the language is a bit different, because I think that's the thing as well. Like, she's clearly trying to make it more adult compared to like her YA and new adult stuff, because we all know ACOTAR is like shelved in the wrong section a lot of the times, but it feels like I believe this is her first like actual adult book, and it feels like she's trying to show that she's a grown-up with her writing, and it's just coming across as, but the way she's trying to do that is what I don't like. But the Catwoman one, although it didn't have some of the things that I'm not liking in this, it did, I remember, have that sort of, yeah, cool girl persona to it that I didn't like. And yeah, maybe that's just a thing. Right, anyway, I have 3.5 hours left of the audiobook. I will hopefully finish it tomorrow. I was going to try and finish it tonight, but I've had enough of this for today. So, I don't DNF books, but I was very tempted today, because I was just like, I am not enjoying this. Why am I putting myself through it? But I've got too far into it now that I can't DNF it. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to power through. And then tomorrow, next book I'm going to read off of my TBR is going to be my reread of Red, White and Royal Blue, because it's a palette cleanser. I know it's a 5-star. I know I can read it quickly. So I'm just going to move straight onto that, and then we'll decide from there, because I've got 3 books left after that to read on my TBR. So I've got Crave by Tracy Wolff, I've got Not Like It's a Problem by Kira Smith, and I have got The Intimacy Experiment by Rosie Dallin. I'm thinking maybe move on to Crave, because it's sort of like palette cleanser and then into a different fantasy. Hopefully I will like Crave, but also I might like sort of give myself the weekend off and like read Red, White and Royal Blue, and then maybe go on to The Intimacy Experiment, because I know I'll read that one quick, and that's an anticipated like companion sequel book anyway. So maybe have like a couple of books that I know I'm going to enjoy, and then we'll go from there. Sorry about the rant. Sorry if you like Sarah J Maas books, which I know is a lot of people. Just not me. I'm very, very sorry. Hello. It is Friday. I did not do an update yesterday. I am here to say that I have like 50 pages left of this book, and I just want it to be over. It's one of those books that feels like it could have ended at 3 different points already, and there just keeps being something more to it. I'm not loving it, in case you can't tell. I have thoughts, but they are very spoilery thoughts. So the thing is, as well, is that I know stuff that happens in the second book, and I have questions, because basically there is a certain thing that I know that happens at the end of the second book, and I want to know if people were surprised by it or just like excited by it or what, because I can see it coming a mile off. I don't know if it's just that I'm seeing those hints anyway, but there is like a particular thing that keeps getting mentioned over and over again, and I'm like, if you think about it, it was fairly obvious, and that's irritating me. And like I said, it just feels like it should have ended quite a few times at this point, and I'm done. I'm done with it. I've got 50 pages left. I have like 30 minutes left of the audiobook. I've just got home from work. I'm gonna go and cook some food, and I'm gonna finish this audiobook while I'm cooking, and then I'll be done with it. And yeah, I think we can safely say I'm not reading the sequel. Okay, so I finished it. I gave it 2 stars. Right. I'm just going to preface this by saying this is completely like my own opinion, and I do understand why some people would like this book. I have plenty of friends who have given this book 5 stars, and I do get it. It's just very much not a book for me. I didn't like the writing style. Like, a lot of it just made me cringe towards the end. Whenever there was like a cheesy sentence or anything where they were talking about any sort of romantic attraction, was just like, it was grating on me, and I was just like, I can't listen to this anymore, because said I was listening to it. And yeah, like, the writing style is just not for me at all. But then also, I don't know if it's partly because of the writing style or if it's just because I didn't like the characters, but the characters weren't great. The only one, like I said, that I really sort of liked was Rune, who wasn't in it that much. I don't know why I liked him, I just did. But then also, like, with the actual storyline, it did feel a bit info dumpy at the beginning, and I knew that going into it, because I know that's one of the things people say is just push past a certain point and then it gets interesting. It did feel info dumpy. It felt that way for a while, and then when it started to get into it, which wasn't until, like, that's where my bookmark is here pretty much, because it's a bit I was listening to this morning. So I'm like 500 pages into it, and that's when I started to get invested. But then we got like this far, and there was still 50 pages left, and I felt like it could have ended. Like, there was a big sort of dramatic event, and then there was still like a fair amount after of just sort of tidying it up. And I know it was because they wanted to show you more of the relationship, but I was just like, it's a series, like, we don't need to tie things up in a neat bow right now. We can leave it at this like dramatic event, leave you then wanting to come back for more, rather than adding in this sort of unnecessary filler bit at the end. And that's just what it felt like to me. It felt like a lot of it was unnecessary filler. And I will say that obviously if you're enjoying this book, it probably didn't feel like that, because you're just like, oh yes, give me all the, because if you're enjoying the characters and you're enjoying the relationship, you're going to want all of those little moments. But when I'm not particularly invested in the characters, and the only bit that is actually holding my attention is sort of the action bit that's happening, when that finished and all I'm left with is these character moments for these characters I don't care about, it's gonna feel like filler to me. That is basically all it is. I ended up giving it a 2 stars. I have already I have already broke this news to my friends. I'm very, very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. I will say I did go into it with an open mind. I know these updates, like, I've only given you the negatives of it, but that's probably because I didn't actually give you an update until I was already a chunk into it, and I was already disliking it by that point. But when I first started reading it, I did like genuinely hope I was going to be pleasantly surprised. I never go into a book thinking, oh my god, I'm going to hate this. I might be a bit cautious of something, but I always go in going, well, I hope I stand corrected. And that is exactly what I did with this one. But unfortunately I wasn't. It just wasn't for me. But like I said, I have already told my friends that I gave it a 2 stars. And I have also said to them that objectively, I know it's not a 2-star book. I don't think it's objectively a 5-star book either. I would probably put it as a 3. I think there's good things about it. I think there's bad things about it. I think it's very much down the middle. The problem is for me is that I tend to rate more on emotions and sort of how I'm feeling when I'm reading the book. And I've already explained my rating system before, but I feel like I need to justify it in this. I don't know why I need to justify it, but I feel like it's such a loved book that I need to. But basically the way that I rate books, so 5 stars is like an all-time favourite. It tends to be that there is something about it that just really emotionally connects me to the book in some way, or the writing is just, or it's something like the writing is just so beautiful, it's so well crafted. There's something for me personally that makes it stand out from the rest. A 4-star is a book that I very, very much enjoyed. A 3-star is a book that I enjoyed, but I might not necessarily read again. A 2-star is a book that I didn't enjoy. A 1-star is a book that I actively hated. If I'm going by that rules, this has to be a 2-star, because although objectively I can see what's good about it and what could be a 3-star, if you're looking at that thing of a 3-star I can say I enjoyed but I wouldn't reread, a 2-star I didn't enjoy and I wouldn't reread, it's more on the 2-star end. So I'm very, very sorry, but that's just how it is. But my next read, I think I already mentioned this because I said it was going to be a palate cleanser, but I do now have it out. We have my guaranteed 5-star read. Speaking of rating on emotions, this is what I'm saying about a 5-star read. Like, objectively, this would not be a 5-star. Objectively, it's probably more of a 4. But just the feels and the emotion that I have connected to this book makes it a 5-star for me. This is, like I said, I rate more on emotions and just how I feel when I'm reading it. And I know that this one makes me happy. So I'm going to go and read that. I've just finished filming a video that you guys should have seen on Saturday. Now I'm going to pack up, I'm going to jump in the shower, I'm going to get all cozy for the night, and I'm going to read about a prince and the son of the president falling in love. Because why not? Hello, it is Saturday evening. Quick update, because I do not have a reading updates because I haven't actually started my reread of Red, White and Royal Blue yet, because I've been out all day. I had a day with my mum. We went to the cinema, we went for food, and then we went to go and see Singing in the Rain at the theatre, which I love Singing in the Rain. The film is in like my top 5 of all time films list. I've seen the stage show once before, so it's the second time seeing it, and I loved it. I loved it so much. So yeah, it's pretty much all I have to say. I'm going to have the song stuck in my head for a while now. It keeps alternating between different ones, but I'm not mad about that. Kind of do want to rewatch the film because Gene Kelly dancing, it needs to be watched. But yeah, that's pretty much my update for today. I'm on sprints tomorrow with Becca, so hopefully I should actually get some reading done then. Hello, I'm going to do a quick wrap up because it is Monday evening and I have not ended this vlog because are we surprised at all? I have got about 40 pages left of Red, White and Royal Blue to read. I cannot hold this book, but I've got about 40 pages left of it. And I'm going to finish it before I go to sleep tonight. And you ever have that where you sort of start rereading a comfort read and you're just like, oh, okay, this is what I've been needing. Like, it's just giving me all the feels that I want it to give me. So, yeah, very happy that I've picked that one up. I now have 3 books left on my TBR for next week. We'll see how it goes. I honestly don't think I'm going to do it, but we'll see. Wrap up for this week. I read Legends and Lattes. I enjoyed it, but it's not a new all-time favourite. I read House of Earth and Blood. We'll not talk about that one. And I reread Red, White and Royal Blue. I had, like I said, still have 40 pages left, but it is without a doubt a 5-star read. That is pretty much everything. I went to the theatre, because of course I did. I'm going to the theatre twice next week, so you can enjoy that in my vlog. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below, and I will see you guys next time with a new video. Bye.